Esiet sveicināti! Ilgi gaidītais brīdis ir klāts. Startējis vēsturē pirmais WRC posms Latvijā. Diena gan iesākās gana jautri, jo čempionāta līderis Ķerija Noivils iesildīšanās posmā iebrauca grāvī jau trešajā līkumā. Un uzreiz tika nonesti pāri šie stabiņi, ko organizatori salikuši, lai sportisti negriež līkumus un nenobrauc no ceļa nost. Un pats Noivils gan pateica, ka jā, kā nobrauc nedaudz no ceļa, uzreiz var just, ka šis segums ļoti mainās un tas var novest pie kļūdām. Nu, labi, ka viņš varēja turpināt sacensības šo iesildīšanās posmu. Tas mirklis, kad Ķerija iebrauc grāvī, noteikti lika aizturēt elpu vienam no viņa pārstāvētās Hyundai komandas inženieriem, kas ir latvietis Artūrs Ozoliņš.
Artūr, tu esi viens no retajiem latviešiem, bet vairākiem tieši WRC, kurš ir darījis savu darbu panācis to, ka viņi pamana no lielās rūpnīcas. Un kāds bija tavs ceļš nokļūstot šeit?
Ceļš bija garš kaut kādā ziņā. No tādām mazākām jau niansītēm, kad jau kā bērns varbūt jau interesējos par autosportu, jau skatījos apkārt, vienmēr interesēja tehniskie sporta veidi un sacensības un sekoju līdzi arī vienmēr rallijam, un īpaši arī Latvijā, un tad jau tālāk arī tādā ziņā izvēlējos studijas tieši Rīgas Tehniskajā universitātē un attiecīgi arī pirmo darbu vietu strādājot Sports Racing Technologies, zināmajā SRT komandā, kā automehāniķis. Un tā interese kaut kā tā pakāpeniski gāja uz priekšu un arī kā tās mašīnas varbūt ātrākas var padarīt, kā sasniegt augstāks rezultāts. Un tad jau arī nāca tas nākamais solis, kad nolēmu studēt Oksfordas universitātē par motosporta inženieri, un tad jau arī tālākie tie darba meklējumi bija tieši šajā kategorijā motosporta tajā visā lielajā vizumā.
Bet es klavējos pie daudzām durvīm, ne tikai WRC.
Nē, godīgi sakot, man tieši kaut kā tas WRC vienmēr tā kā vilka, tas rallijas tajā virzienā, un tad tieši tās pirmās arī intervijas un viss arī notika tieši ap WRC, un bija tā sanāca kaut kā tā, varbūt pat pārāk naturāli tieši, kad iekrita tā komanda uzreiz un bija tāda pozīcija tajā brīdī, kad es meklēju, tā teikt, un tad tā viss tā baigi labi salikās, kad studijas gāja uz beigām, un tad arī.
Kāds ir tas ceļš, lai tu par sevi darītu zināmi, tīpaši rūpnīcas komandai, kas noteikti saņem piedāvājumus no visas pasaules, un viņi atlasa tikai labākos, ņemot vērā gan viņu resursus, gan arī, protams, viņu mērķus? Principā
Hyundai motosports es tieši rakstīju tā saucamās augstos e-mails, kad es vienkārši ar tādu interesi, ka man ir interesi par šo komandu, man ir interesi par motosportu, un man ir, teiksim, tāda specifiska arī izglītība šai virzienā, un vai viņiem nav kādas iespējas. Tā kā principā tas ceļš arī tādā veidā bijis vienkārši caur internetu saziņu. Tā kā principā ļoti pieejams.
Cik gadus tu esi kopā ar Hyundai komandu?
Šis tagad jau ir 5. gads.
5. gads. Un kāda ir pozīcija, no kā tu esi izaudzis vai kur tu esi kāpis un kāda ir uz kāpnēm?
Es sāku kā junior inženieris, darbojoties ar marketinga mašīnu, un tad man nākamais solis jau bija kā treniņu inženieris, testa inženieris, kas jau ar performances automašīnas nodarbojās vairāk tieši treniņos un mēģina attīstīt to automašīnas jaudu un uzlabot to veiktspēju saucamo. Tad jau tālāk, tagad šī brīža pozīcija man ir darbošanās konkrēti ar pilotiem, kā sacīkšu inženieriem.
Tu jau veic varbūt šo plānošanas sadaļu, kas attiecīgi jānodot kā uzdevumus mehāniķiem.
Jā, mums tieši tā plānošana notiek kopīgi gan ar braucēju, gan arī ar pārējo komandu, kāds ir tas galvenais plāns, ko mēs liksim uz mašīnas, ņemsim nost, kas mums jādara servisos, un tas viss notiek. Tālāk tiek nodots tieši arī numur 1 mehāniķim komandā, kurš arī sadala darbus pārējos uz visiem pārējiem mehāniķiem.
Kurš ir tavs uzdraugāmais protežē?
Tieši konkrēti ir šobrīd SAP Klapī šajā rallijā, un vēl man ir arī Andrejas Mikelsens tajā brīdī, kad viņš brauc. Un šajā rallijā konkrēti startēs SAP, un arī, protams, Janne Ferm, kas ir viņa stūrmanis, tā kā man sanāk šo ekipāžu darboties ikdienā tagad.
Ja tev varbūt jāizceļ kaut kas būtu no tā darba, ko tu jau līdz šim paveici, kas ir ļāvis mašīnai progresēt, kas ir ļāvis pilotam sasniegt maksimālo no tā, ko mašīna vispār spēja, ko tu varētu sev izcelt un savā ziņā uzsist pa plecu. Jā, tas bija tas, ko es izdarīju.
Viss ir tādās ļoti smalkās niansēs. Vienmēr viņas ir grūti, varbūt pat pamanīt kaut kādos brīžos, bet jebkurā gadījumā tajā brīdī, kad tas rezultāts ir pozitīvs, tu zini, ka tu vismaz nedari neko negatīvu. Un tādā ziņā, mums arī pagājušajā gadā bija kaut kādi tieši konkrēti regulējumi, kurus arī citi piloti izvēlējās vairāk, tieši arī vadošie piloti komandā, kas, protams, bija tāds arī gan braucēja pirksts tajā, ka viņš ir spējīgs just tos regulējumus un uzteikt, un arī tas, ka varbūt mans kaut kāds ieteikums šajā virzienā palīdzēja komandai.
Ko tu vari sagaidīt no Rallija Latvija? Noteikti tev kā latvietim jautā, kas būs, ar ko rēķināties?
Jā, daudz kas tāds viegls, varbūt pat jau smags satraukums. Kas varētu notikt tādā ziņā, ka noteikti daudz interesanti ātrumposmi. Tas, ka mums ir ļoti dažādi varbūt tie ceļi, kad viņi neatkārtosies, kā ir pierasts jau tagad kā norma gandrīz šai čempionātā, kad tā kā vienmēr notiek tie ātrumposmi atkārtotos, tad tagad viss notiksies gandrīz no jauna, katrs ātrumposms. Tā kā es domāju, ka tas ir tāds liels izaicinājums arī gan braucējiem, gan pieraksts veicot, gan visu pārējo analizējot, tieši saprast, kā visus tos ātrumposmus izbraukt vislabāk un visātrāk.
Tas ir Hyundai mērķis, un Hyundai ir resursi būt ar ne tikai lielāko servisu parku, lielāko un iespējīgāko māju, vismaz šeit Rallija pilsētiņā, par šīm iespējām un resursiem. Ko tas tev ļauj izdarīt un kādu varbūt spiedienu tas uzliek, jo varbūt mazākām komandām tās iespējas ir mazākas un limitētākas, bet šeit tev pēc būtības ir pieejams praktiski viss. Varbūt var pastāstīt, kas ir šis viss?
Jā, noteikti kaut kādā līdzekļu ziņā mums nav tik lieli ierobežojumi, kas, protams, arī galā prasa to rezultātu. Tā kā rezultātam vienmēr ir jābūt visaugstākajam. Un mums nav tāds pašmērķis, ir vienkārši nokļūt uz piedestāla, bet vienmēr tomēr vajag to uzvaru. Katrā posmā, kurā mēs piedalāmies, un galvenais mēs ļoti fokusējamies, protams, arī uz to, lai tie čempionāta punkti lasās, lai tā gada noslēgumā būtu pozitīvs rezultāts. Un, jā, tas spiediens ir konstants kaut kādā ziņā visu laiku. Katras sacensības ir savādākas, katru reizi tu vari performēt savādāk, labāk atkal mēģināt no jauna, un visu laiku ir tā kā pa kalniņiem augšā lejā. Jā, cerams, ka būs tikai augšā, mazāk lejā.
Tu esi viens no latviešiem, arī Mārtiņš Zulis ir ar Toyotu un ir kopumā 5 latvieši. Tagad Mārtiņš Seskis ir dabūjis iespēju ar Fordu izbraukt. Ko tu varbūt vari pastāstīt iesākumā par saviem kolēģiem no Toyotas un, protams, kas ir tas, ko Mārtiņš ir šobrīd ieguvis, kas tā ir par iespēju?
Jā, es domāju, ka tas ir ļoti patīkami redzēt arvien vairāk un vairāk latviešu šajā sporta veidā. Jā, Toyotas sastāvā jau, kā jau minēju, ir jau 5 šobrīd. Un cerams, ka tas skaits palielināsies. Tā ir, es domāju, arī laba iespēja visiem. Jā, runājot par Mārtiņu, viņam lielisks sasniegums jau bija Polijas Rallijā. Un es domāju, ka noteikti varam daudz ko sagaidīt, varbūt arī Latvijā. Tā kā es gribētu viņam novēlēt, protams, lai viss izdodas un būtu interesants cīņas trasē.
Komandas runā par Mārtiņu, varbūt Hyundai iekšienē kaut ko, vai tas, ko viņš parādīs Polijā, tas ir lieliski, bet komandas varbūt nesteidz, varbūt nākotnes pilotu sarakstā vēl viņa vārdu ierakstīt.
Noteikti, kad bija interesanti to dzirdēt, kad visi mēģina izrunāt viņu uzvārdu. Kas varbūt kuram katram izdevās. Un tas, kad noteikti jau uzreiz tas ir spilgti redzams un tiek analizēts kaut kādā ziņā, kādēļ šāds sniegums, vai tā ir kaut kāda kļūme, vai tā tam būtu jābūt. Protams, jā, tagad saku, nepārsteigsimies ar tādiem secinājumiem. Arī komandas viņas jau turpinās analizēt un skatīties, bet katrā ziņā tā acis tiek pievērsta vairāk.
Bet ir reāli redzēt viņu kā stabilu braucēju nākotnē 5 gadu griezumā?
Es domāju, ka jā, viņam ir pietiekami liela pieredze jau braucot visos posmos, un viņš jau nav pirmo dienu tomēr Rallijā. Tā kā viņš iet uz to mērķi, un kādēļ gan ne.
Bet tagad vērsīsim uzmanību Mārtiņam Saskam. Raimonds Gekišs tikās ar M-Sport Ford vadītāju, lai noskaidrotu latviešu izredzes braukt WRC arī nākotnē.
Viena no pirmajām un atbildīgākajām daļām pirms paša rallija ir tehniskā komisija, un šobrīd kā pirmie šo obligāto sastāvdaļu veids Rallija 1, ja paši jaudīgākie WRC auto. Un fonā redzam arī Mārtiņa Saska auto jau gatavos iziet tehnisko komisiju, kur tad arī izvērtē, vai viss atbilst specifikācijām, tehniskajiem regulējumiem, vai tad jau visi rītdien varētu startēt jau pirmajā posmā biķerniekos. This is one of the main procedures before the rally. Is it worried for you, or like everything is all right?
It would be if it was the first time, but it's routine now, so it's just the norm. There's no worries at all.
How do you know that you don't have to worry? Like your crew did all the job, and you know that I can trust them, and I don't have to worry about it.
We do small checks before we actually come here to scrutineering scales. We do our own checks to see the differences between FIA and ours and things, so we're well prepared.
Tomorrow the rally starts here in Latvia the first time, and Martin will be able to drive with the hybrid technology here in Latvia. How do you think he'll cope with everything this car can do actually on the road?
I think Martin will be more than competent enough. He's a switched on guy and knows. He's a clever lad. He knows what he's doing, and yeah, it'll be a big learning process for him, but he'll do well.
What's the main difference between the car he had and the regulations in Poland rally and here in Latvia? Like, what's the biggest adjustment?
Biggest adjustment is having the extra horsepower there given from the hybrid system. So yeah, it's just a small adjustment, one to his notes and his driving style to cope with the extra power.
Martin praised your guys and the job you did because he said, well, the regulations and everything they did made our job easier to transition to this Rally 1 type of car. But how do you characterize his driving with this powerful vehicle?
It's a difficult one, that. He's coped very well. His preparation towards the events are amazing. He's done everything he needs to do. He's had a good testing before Poland and also before Latvia. So his effort towards work and acclimatising with the car is astounding. It's good.
Did it surprise you how well he managed to do that?
Yeah, very. Very, because always with a new driver you don't know what's going to happen, whether he's going to have the wrong attitude, the right attitude, working and everything like that, and dealing with us as well. But he's top draw. He is really good.
Šobrīd esam M-Sporta Severas parkā, kur šo nedēļu Mārtiņš Sasks un Renārs Francis būs aprūpēti no Ford komandas, un blakus man ir komandas menedžeris Richard. Hey.
Hey.
You are one of the most grateful guys or honorable guys who gave Martins also a chance to compete in WRC and with Rally 1 type car. How it came for you to have this idea that we need to help young drivers and to promote them and give them a chance to compete here in WRC?
So my boss Malcolm Wilson, who started M-Sport, has over his 25 years of being in WRC, one of his main things he's always done is give opportunity to younger drivers. And if you look at the majority of the professional drivers in the other teams, they've all driven with M-Sport at some point. And it's something that we really enjoy doing, giving this first step on the ladder to the young drivers. And there was an opportunity that came about with Martins, and it was a collaboration between Martins himself, the WRC promoter, and M-Sport to give this two-event opportunity. And Poland was always going to be more of a learning event with the non-hybrid version of the car, but the main focus was for having somebody representing themselves on their home event in the top level machinery, and Martins fitted the character perfectly. So yeah, it's a combination of everybody. We're trying to find ways to get more younger people into the sport, into the top level of the sport, and hopefully this program will show that that's possible.
You said that this here will be his opportunity to test car with like full potential, with the hybrid technology set in. What can you tell about the car itself? Everyone says this is the fastest rally car ever that we can witness here, but from your perspective, what we can see here?
I think this event is going to be very challenging. You know, we were in Poland only a few weeks ago. It's quite a sandy kind of surface, whereas here it's a lot more loose gravel. If you go off the line here, you have to be very careful. You know, you will have a bit of. I think we will see some action over the weekend. Put it that way. But you know, Martin's had an incredible result in Poland. I think.
Were you surprised? Did you expect that?
I expected him to be fast,
but not that fast. As Martin said, why so fast?
The speed for me wasn't the surprising thing. The surprising thing was being able to keep that speed consistently over the whole weekend. You know, he went into that first long stage and was nearly his fastest time. Nearly got a stage win, which was incredible. But you know, when you have the competition and pressure of people like Thierry and the other professional drivers that are doing every round, chasing you down, you expect that the new person is ultimately going to fall back over the course of the weekend. That just didn't happen. So here on his home event with stages he knows very well and road conditions he knows very well, it could be really interesting. But adding the hybrid power is still a lot to learn. It's still going to be a huge challenge. We shouldn't base it off one event only. It's not fair on Martins to put pressure on him like that. I think the goal will be to go with the same approach, and he needs to complete the whole weekend. You know, that's how we're going to be able to find ways to hopefully get more events with him and do that. You know, we don't want to have a fantastic event in Finland and a bad event here because it doesn't look good. So hopefully we have a good repeat, but it's never easy. WRC is not easy, but he does have the home advantage, shall we say. And
Martins also said that like other professional drivers that have like thousands of kilometers of experience, he and runners, they just lack of that. But still, what do you think he's capable of showing? Of course, it's his home surface, and you guys built an incredible car for him. How do you like combine these two ingredients to like have a good result?
I think he's being kind on himself. You know, the other guys have, I would say, tens of thousands of kilometers under their belts, and he has hundreds, literally hundreds. You know, he was the only one of our drivers to do a test here, which was part of the plan, but he's using the same car from Poland. We are using different chassis for the other guys here, so that helps a little bit. But it's going to be hard because, you know, I think he realised that the pace notes are very different at this speed. The car's very different. There's a lot to learn on setups and understanding things. And you know, the car has so much options available, but what we try to find is we're trying to find a balance that will suit him in general, and you know, just concentrate on his driving and enjoying the experience, enjoying the event. There's no point trying to get to the level of Adrian and Gregoire with the detail and the setups, because you will get lost. You know, his best performance was in Poland, and that was him just being relaxed, enjoying the event, enjoying the experience, enjoying the car, and we need to keep that mentality here. And I think he can do that, but yeah, like I say, WRC is not easy, and I think the pressure will now have built on him in a positive way, because it's built because we had such a great event in Poland, but also a negative way that now the expectation can sometimes be very high. So we'll be there supporting him with the best we can to give him a setup that we know works, that he can be fast with. He has driven the car on the roads here, which is great. So he's as prepared as he can be. I'm sure he's had a very good recce from what I hear. So yeah, we're all kind of in place, but the action and the fun only starts tomorrow with a tricky super special to begin with. You know, very different to the rest of the rally. It's going to be key to get a good start there, but he should have a good road position when we get to Friday with the real gravel stages. So everything's there to have a really good event, and we just need to make that happen.
Martin said it's easier to transition from Rally Type 2 car to the fastest one, Rally Type 1 car, but do you think he already learned everything what this car is capable of?
Absolutely not. I think he's probably learned 15 to 20% of it.
15, 20%?
Yeah, because you know, the other guys are sitting in this car every couple of weeks for an entire rally. You know, that's 350 kilometers of driving. Then you do the tests where you can get another 200 Ks. So they're doing probably 500-600 kilometers a month in this car, and have been. Adrian's been in this car for the best on and off for 3 to 4 years. Gregoire is still relatively new, but is a good 5 or 6 events ahead of Martins, and he's still learning a lot. So he knows the basics, he knows enough to be able to drive the car fast. We saw that in Poland, but that's why I say it's important that we don't try to get too complicated with things. Let's keep it simple. It worked in Poland, it can work here. And you know, we have to be realistic of the position. I think a top five finish here again would be fantastic for him. 2 top 5 finishes in WRC on his first 2 events would be quite an incredible result.
If we can call it as an internship for Martin and Renars in WRC, do you think after these 2 stages his performance will be evaluated for maybe next season, or maybe even at the end of the season he could also do some more stages? But will this performance boost his transition to WRC, or still like a lot of needs to be done in order to call him like a legit WRC driver?
Look, I think the goal of this program, which you know the WRC promoter is aiming to do this with other young drivers as well, to give them the opportunity to show the teams their capabilities. And I think Martin's firmly put his name on the list of people to consider after Poland. But that's why I said earlier, it's very important that we don't base it all around one event. You know, if you have a bad event here or had a crash, for example, you very quickly undo all the hard work you did. So the goal here is to get another finish, do all the stages, all the days. You know, he's got a lot of good things going for him. The speed is great. The driving is obviously no problem for him. But there's still slower, more technical rallies. We'd have to understand how he performs there. They can often be more difficult than the fast ones.
Like on tarmac?
Yeah, tarmac and slow gravel. You know, we find with the rally drivers, the high-speed parts aren't normally the problem where they're losing the time. It's the lower-speed technical areas. And you know, there's so many different events in this calendar that he wouldn't have experience of. It would be very difficult to come in and be at the level he's at now for the whole year. But these 2 events were chosen because they're the ones that suit him the best, because he knows them very well.
He can show his best qualities.
Exactly. But there's so much more to it. And the other good thing he has going for him, he's a very good character. He's very marketable. He's very well liked by fans. You know, it's what we need for the championship as well. You know, his interviews at the stage ends are exactly what. It's one of those drivers where they open the door, you want to listen to him. You know, some other drivers.
You just put mic on like near to him, and he will like give you like quotes that you can put on the headlines.
They're what we need to bring to WRC, and that was also part of the reason this program existed. So,
but do you think you could see him during the season more in your team?
I spoke to Malcolm only shortly ago about you know, it would be really interesting to see what he can do here, and if we have another good result, then we should definitely think about options of what we can do. The M Sport's a bit more difficult. We do need other partners to help us to fund these younger drivers, but you know, this is what we do. This is the day in, day out business that M Sport does, and if we can help,
it's not charity also.
Unfortunately not. So if we can help give them an opportunity, and you know, if Martin's can find some local sponsors because of a great performance here and get some budget, and we can find some budget to help, then maybe we can do more events, and that's what we all want from the championship. So but the result this weekend is key, and having a consistent run and another strong result is #1 priority.
Service Park is one of the most interesting parts of the rally, and it's like draw attention to other people like magnet. And you have a big building that put shadow to your position. But what you can tell, what you have here? Can we walk through a bit?
So we are very much a different setup to this rather large building. Again, it's down purely to budget for us. We have to be efficient and economical with the costs. That doesn't bother me. You know, ultimately what we're here for is the results. I'm not here to set up a big building.
Well, Hyundai building is super fancy, and everyone like say, "Oh, it's so cool," but it's not your story. It's not about glamorous, fancy buildings. It's about performance. It's about like actual like thing that drivers do on the race days.
Absolutely. The #1 reason we're here is to win, and you know, that's our #1 priority. It would be lovely to have this, but I think somewhere like Toyota have in the middle is a good opportunity for the whole championship, and that's ideas we're working on in the future, for everybody to have the same, so that we can all brand it and work better together. But for us, we have this inflatable tent system. It's very easy to set up, quick, takes up less space. I also look at a sustainability point of view. You know, we have we actually saved one entire truck coming to Europe.
One entire truck?
By switching to this compared to a metal structure we had previously. And okay, it's only small, but when you have all these small things adding up, you are being more sustainable and more efficient.
If you spread it for entire season.
Yeah, and sustainability often equals reduced cost as well. So for us, if I can reduce cost on a truck, but spend it on improving my car, that's what we're going to do. So we look at it a number of different ways.
How big is your crew and how big is the entire team to overlook all the drivers and the cars?
This weekend we have around 55 people here, including drivers. We're about 20 people less than the other teams. So again, we are a lot more efficient. We all do a number of different jobs. But we work together. It's a good family environment.
You're also the cook?
No, that wouldn't be a good idea. But you know, we have physio that is doing the physio, but she's also looking after the driver's kit and ensuring well that's in the right places. And then we have people who do the recce and look after those cars, then work on the real cars. Truck drivers do the setup. So everybody's doing different jobs to help move it all together. But this is where we're going to look after the cars this weekend. 4 cars here, two factory cars. Martin's identical car to the other guys, especially here with the hybrid system. And then William Crichton in the Rally 2 category, WRC 2. In between the cars we have our toolboxes where we have all of the cleaning equipment, the papers, the air, electric, some timing screens to tell us how long we've got left during the service. And then these are the chargers for the hybrid system, so when the cars come back we can plug them in, charge them up as well. We get, this rally is a little bit different with the format. They leave here tomorrow after shakedown to do a super special in Riga on Thursday evening, and then they're not back here all the way during Friday. So during Friday there's only what we call a remote tyre fitting zone. We take some tyres to them. They can only work on the car with the parts that are in the car, and we can have 2 extra people, 2 mechanics help them, but like I say, only with bits in the car. So we will take a few spare parts in the car to help us in case anything happens. And then on Saturday it's a bit more of a normal day. We have a short 30-minute service at lunch and a 45-minute service in the evening. And then Sunday, no service, but the power stage on Sunday. So it's quite a wide route here, but that adds different challenges, and every rally is slightly different, which is what one of the nice things about rally is. It's not always the same, but it should be an exciting event.
M Sport team uses Ford cars. How close relationship to the big Ford company do you have, or is it just the logo on your shirt that's basically the only connection, or is there like real factory involvement in your team?
I mean, everybody thinks that it's just M Sport. It's not the case. You know, we're not a full factory outfit. We are a partner on behalf of Ford that runs the program for them. But there's no denying this would not be possible without their backup and their help. You know, they provide us with incredible amounts of technical support, help with aerodynamic studies, engineering support. We have performance engineers that come to the events from Ford to work for us. So it's still a vital part of the program.
Is it for the represents here in Europe or from America?
From America.
So basically, to the top level involvement from Ford, you basically have all the engineer knowledge.
We have direct line straight into the top of the technical team in America. We are working with people like Mark Rushbrook, who's head of global motorsports for Ford Performance. And you know, we have line of contact to the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley. You know, they are well aware of the program and they are incredibly supportive of the program. But Ford has a very varied motorsport program, so lots of different areas, not just rally. And you know, they are really in-depth involved with M Sport. So anybody that knows, we recently last week unveiled the Ford Raptor, which is a Dakar program that we are taking on behalf of Ford. So we are running for them their Dakar program for the next 4 years, and we just unveiled the new car there. So we are really involved with Ford, and people shouldn't think that this is just M Sport. This is both companies together.
I know it's probably just a stereotype, but Americans tend to be braggy and they like to show off and say we're the biggest, we're the strongest. But this is not like comparable to like their cultural thing, because every time you go to American sport tents, you see like big, flashy everything. Do they have plans to maybe
this is the British part then? The British part, a bit more realistic. Okay, I would love to improve it a little bit, but like I say, there's a number of things I think we actually do very well compared to the others.
You combine both good things from both these worlds.
I would love to improve our hospitality a little bit and improve the commercialized element of the whole series, which is something we're working with the other manufacturers on. So we want to create the same for everybody, because that way there is no competition. You know, there is competition in the service park of having different structures, but that often leads to more spend, which could be spent better elsewhere. So one of the long-term goals of the championship and the teams involved is to make it more standardised across the series. So hopefully over the next couple of years we'll see that happen. But again, I think we can still offer a very good experience for people, and often there is a really good experience to come and look around the service park, see the cars, see the spare parts, see what we're doing. But the real experience of rally is to go out and see these cars on the stages. So that's always, if I have guests, that's the #1 priority, is to get them to go and see these cars in reality. Because once you see a rally car go past, and any fans going to watch this weekend will see them at full speed, you will never forget that.
We have like 2 basically factory teams, then there's M Sport Ford team. Do you think in the near future we could expect like more factory team be involved in WRC?
So the last 6 months I've spent a lot of my life talking about the future of WRC with the other teams and the FIA and the promoter. I think we have to be realistic that at the moment for 25 and 26 we've asked to keep the rules the same. So ensure stability and ensure that we remain at, I still call it 3 manufacturers. You know, we are still 3, but we are slightly different story to the others, but it's still a manufacturer team. With the goal now being focusing on 2027, you know, new set of regulations. We want to reduce some costs out of the cars. We want to increase the commercialisation of the championship and increase the awareness of the championship. And to gain a manufacturer, that's a big choice for a board to say we're going to go and commit to a World Championship programme. And if you think now, we're over halfway through 2024, so even if the regulations are published in the next couple of months, which is the plan, 25 they have to sign that off. 2025 the plan would be for them that they have to decide they're going to commit and actually put the budget to it and start developing a car. In 2026 they need to be testing the car, because in 2027 they start. So we have such a small range of time. To have a new manufacturer before that, I would say, is almost impossible. But certainly the goal of everybody is to increase to a minimum of 4 for 2027.
You use Ford Puma. It's probably not the most popular Ford models, but were there any other Ford models in consideration to use in rally program?
So the rally technical regs give you a certain size and weight and shape of the car, a box that you have to fit the car within, and Puma was the one that worked best for Ford. The disadvantage for us is Puma is not a global car, so Puma can't be bought in all markets, which is a bit more tricky, but that's the same for other manufacturers as well. And as a group, we came together with the technical regulations for this type of car, this 2022 model of car that was different from previous. So when we had Fiesta, we actually started with a production body shell and modified it heavily to make the World Rally car. Whereas now what we actually do is start with creating a roll cage and all the mechanical components as one, with no body shell on top, and you basically almost stick all the body panels on to make it look like a Puma. The advantage of that is what we could do, if we really wanted to, is we could take Puma off, and we still have all the bits underneath, and we can put another body shell, another different car on top. So it gives us a lot more flexibility in changing quickly if a manufacturer wants to change the way that or the car that they want to promote. There is obviously a lot of then discussions about whether a new car would be technically as good aerodynamically or shape-wise. So there's a lot that goes into it, but the concept is, if a new manufacturer wanted to come, or we wanted to change mid-cycle to a different car, it'd be a lot easier to do than previous.
Yeah, and does Ford also has saying in this, or they said, okay, just use Puma and that's it for now?
There's a lot of studies done to see what car was best, but in the section, in the model of car that we have, and the size and the shape and the performance advantages we could get from the range of cars available, Puma was the best.
And how different like Ford cars is from Hyundai and Toyota? Of course, it's different manufacturer and different like engineering behind. But of course there are secrets. But what can you tell? What makes this car different from Hyundai or Toyota?
Obviously, the external body shell is a big thing, and there is elements of the cage and the mechanical components of where they fix it is regulated. So everybody has to have the same certain points within the car, and then the rest there is some freedom. So, you know, it's things like, where do we mount certain items of the car? How have we positioned the hybrid slightly, or how do we position all our interior equipment to make the best centre of gravity, get the lowest and the most performance advantage? How do we shape the whole of our car around the aero of a Puma compared to a Yaris or an i20? There's a lot of different things going on, but there is some fundamental same points for each manufacturer, which ensures that we keep that close competition. But the cars are incredibly different to anything you would see on the road. You know, like I say, they're not production cars anymore. So everything in here is bespoke to rally. The first thing you can notice is when you look in, the crew is incredibly far into the car. So actually when they sit in it, they're all in the middle of the car. So the seats are really far in to give as much protection from any accidents. So you can see on the side we have this huge amount of foam here and the roll cage, and then there's more foam on the door to absorb any impacts. And we have, in the old rally cars, we used to have one main hoop across the top of the car to stop any crushing. In these cars we have two, so I have one here and one behind the seat. And this has improved the structural integrity of the car by about, I think it's about 35% from the previous cars. So they're incredibly safe. They're the safest cars we've ever had. And the change meant we could also use a lot more carbon panels. So doors are all fully carbon. The whole body is basically fully carbon apart from one section on the roof. There is a metal plate above the cruise to stop anything impacting if the car was to roll over. But the car is very differently built compared to what we had previously. But there's very few elements on here that you would find on a road car. Maybe windscreen wipers, and that's about it, I think.
But how hard is it to compete with Hyundai and with Toyota?
Obviously it's not so easy. They have probably 60% more budget than us.
60?
At least. But I would say that it's a good challenge. I enjoy the challenge of trying to fight competitively with them on a lot less budget. It means we have to find different ways to do things, new ways to do things, but it means we're more dynamic, we are very quick at changing direction or coming.
What are you the most proud of what your engineers came up with?
The fact that we have a car that can still win rallies. I think that's key to it, and the fact that we're all here just to, we're all here to do any role that's needed. We want to win, and to win you have to be versatile, and it's a very small company in relation to the others that Malcolm set up 30 years ago, and it's still got this family environment, and we're still all, a lot of us that are here are all here because we love rallying, so we all want to do well, and so far it's still working, so yeah, I think that's what we're proud of the most.
Of course, his car looks different because he had Latvian supporters, and also livery is a bit adjusted to him. How close you were in cooperation with the Martins team to have his car a bit more specially adjusted for him from the outside?
Actually, no involvement. We asked for, I think there was an M Sport flag on the front, so I said put an M Sport flag somewhere.
And that's it?
That's it. For us, the key is Martins is in our car. It shows he has a close cooperation with us, but it's other partners that were just as important as making this happen. So, for him to have a longer opportunity to compete in WRC, he needs the partners that we have to help with that. So the goal is to give them the opportunity to advertise and see the benefit, commercial benefit from being involved with someone like Martins, and hopefully that will allow us to do more events going forward. I quite like it as well.
Yeah, it looks nice, and it gives this special touch of Latvian heritage.
And the Latvians know instantly who is coming when they see him.
Incredible. Well, thank you again for showing your amazing service work, and yeah, what matters the most is what you show on the road, not maybe being the flashiest, or but what you can actually show.
No, you're welcome, and it's a pleasure to be here and in the country and having WRC in a new country. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the event brings.
Iespējams, domāsiet, ka nedaudz murgoja, bet Latvija divkārtējā pasaules rallija čempioni. Jautāsiet, kāds Latvijai ieguldījums Kalles Rovanperra 22. un 23. gada pasaules čempionāta titula izcīnīšanā. Redzam Latvijas karodziņas gan pretī Solberga uzvārdam, kas ir Zviedrs, gan Somam Rovanperram. Latvija ir unikāla ar to, ka, lai piedalītos sacensībās, nav nepieciešama vadītāja apliecība. Un uzticīgākie rallija līdzekļi noteikti šos puišus atceras vēl tādā tīņu vecumā, kad viņi pa mūsu ceļiem jau braukuši gana daudz. Cik tad bija gadu, kad sāka šie vīri Latvijā startēt? Kalle Rovanperra, divkārtējais pasaules čempions, 12 gados sāk piedalīties rallija sprinta sacensībās, bet, lai nokļūtu no posmu uz posmu, mainījās ar stūrmanu vietām un nepārkāpjot noteikumus, tad aizbrauc uz nākamo posmu. 15 gados viņš kļuva par pasaulē jaunāko nacionālo čempionu, uzvarot Latvijas čempionātā Rallijā. Mārtiņš Stasks nedaudz vēlāk, viņš citās autodisciplīnās braukāja, bet tieši Rallijā viņš debitēja 16 gadu vecumā. Olivers Solbergs, Petera Solberga dēls, brauca šeit jau 14 gadu vecumā. Raimonds Gekišs satika Olivera tēti, pasaules čempionu Rallijā Peteru Solbergu.
It's fantastic to be here. You know, Latvia have been, you know, Oliver's second home of rallying basically, and great memories. And I think, you know, over the years, you know, the rallying have been so good here to take care of young people. You know, like Oliver Rovanperä says, you know, Grias, many people. So I think it's been one of the best places to start your career.
It's a special feeling. I think, you know, Rally Sweden, of course, is my home rally, but then when we finally can do a WRC event in Latvia, I mean, it's a special feeling, as you said, because it's where I started my rally career. It's basically my second home in rallying, and it's such a long time ago I've been here. So it's a fantastic feeling to be back. And it's also where I took my first international win, you know, so it's a lot of special memories.
How did you decide that Latvia will be the place for to start with everything? Because of course regulation allowed an early age start. Did you thought like, yes, this is like good place, a good platform for him?
Well, I was not so much involved in this. It was actually Harri Rovanperä and Krastins who was the guys who made this possible. And for us, you know, Oliver, you know, loves rallying, and that's where everything started from. So with the organization that they have in the federation here are very professional, and it makes it you know, possible for young talents, you know, to copy, you know, like many others have done.
Which is harder, being a wife of a rally driver or a mom?
A mom, definitely a mom, because you worry differently. You know, if it's us driving, it's one thing, but then when your kid is driving, you worry differently, absolutely. You just want them to be safe, you know, and have a good result. It's not nice to see your kid, you know, having a problem or being upset, and you can't really help, you know. When you're a mom, it doesn't matter what I say or what I try to tell him, you know, it will be better, it will be fine. That doesn't work anymore. So I have to say that seeing them, first of all, to see him safe, and also to, of course, have a good result, that you want them to enjoy, you know, a good time. That's for me important anyway.
I see that you have brought your mother home with you, and you are basically enjoying the full experience of now like motor tourism.
Well, you know, I stayed in hotel for so many years, and you know, we took the boat over to Estonia, and then we drove down here to Liepāja through Riga. So, you know, we tried to take it as a vacation and try to enjoy a little bit at the same time, because you have a fantastic nature here. Nice people, and then we're going to Finland after this one. So we combine rallying with some vacation, and yeah, and we can work from wherever we are anyway.
First stage will be in Biķernieki auto track, which will be very special, and then it will move outside of Riga. What can you tell, what kind of rally it will be comparing to previous ones?
Oh, Biķernieki stage, you know, we have been there many times for the rallycross for sure, and I think Oliver have done it also with the Peugeot 208 for many years ago, 5 years ago I think. So it's great for spectators to come there, because it has a lot of history. But on the stages itself, it's very fast. I think for the spectators, they're gonna love it, and the speed of this WRC1 cars are incredible. And the R5 class, where Oliver is driving now, you know, it's a very good class for everyone to drive. So it will be a very hard competition for sure, but I think all the families here and will go out and watch and enjoy it as much as we will do, basically.
Are you still involved in some decision making and maybe like part of like you know, tactics and like giving you know, advice?
No, not at all. You know, I enjoy rallying so much, and we just want to be around when Oliver is doing the races, and Pernilla is working in the WRC commission, so she is busy on the races. Me, I'm more like a tourist, but Oliver is doing his own job with Skoda, and they are taking very good care of him, and so I am not doing anything, you know. I'm doing some autograph session and talking to people and talking to you, and yeah, try to yeah, have some fun.
Mūsu rallija reportieris Raimons vakar tikās ar pasaules čempionāta līderi Ķeriju Noivilu. Un jau vakar viņš norādīja, ka grāns ceļi nav viņa mīļākais segums.
It's a pleasure to see you here in Latvia. What are your first impressions and how do you feel coming and preparing for the Rally Latvija?
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, obviously it's a new country for me to discover and a new type of rally as well. Very fast roads, very wide roads, lots of loose weather. So not necessarily what I prefer the most, but we're always up to the challenge and discovering new roads makes it always a bit more exciting.
Like this preparation and like the past few months for you, how would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of preparation. Unfortunately, we are very limited by testing, so we couldn't come over here to have some pre-event tests. So the only real test will be tomorrow's shakedown. Further just watching some videos from previous European Championship editions and trying to learn something. But there wasn't much we could really learn from, so I'm focused on everything what's coming now.
From the things you have seen and during like first practice sessions, what kind of rally do you expect? Especially starting from Biķernieki.
Yeah, I mean, for ourselves it will be challenging. We are first car on the road, the conditions are very loose, so we will struggle for traction. We have seen very fast roads. There are some stages which I like from the profile, despite they're really fast, but they're generally quite wide, and it's definitely going to be fun in some of the stages. Some others are maybe a little bit too fast for my liking and a little bit less interesting, but generally, it should be okay.
For some of the leaders before coming to Latvia, it wasn't the most pleasant time, especially Ogier, like Tanak, the crashes. How do you expect the fight for the victory? Will it affect this situation before?
No, I don't think that anything will be affected by what happened in previous weeks. I think everybody will be fully on it, and like I said, championship fight is on, so it is going to be very fast this weekend. Elfin as well, which are my main contenders, and I need to focus on them. And then obviously down the start order, some guys like EP, Calero Vampera will be super fast this weekend.
You are current World Championship leader and you have been runner-up 5 times. What's your focus to finally get your first victory?
I mean, we do rally by rally for the moment and try to take a maximum out of points of it. At the moment we are in the most difficult situation because we need to manage our lead we have at the moment in the points, and at the same time we have the worst road conditions all of the rallies. So it's tough, but it is what it is, and we keep our head up and try to do as good as we can.
Martin Czesk will only have his second WRC race in Poland. He surprised maybe not everyone, but quite a few people. Were you one of them who were surprised by his performance?
Yeah, I think he was really quick for first time in the car, and
it wasn't a beginner's luck.
On a fast rally, no, I think he did very well. Obviously, he catched some points of myself for the championship, so we're going to try to do better this weekend. But I guess that, he's home, he knows very well the road, so I guess that he's going to be pretty quick, especially with his start position as well. He's going to take the advantage on Friday, and then let's see what comes up on the other days.
You and other elite drivers have tens of thousands of kilometers of experience in rally type 1 car. Martin, he doesn't have that. What can you expect him in his second rally?
No, I think he's going to be fast because he knows very well the road, so that's definitely helpful for him. He adapted quickly to the car, and I mean, I would not be surprised to see him up the leaderboard at some point because, like I say, the road conditions are cleaning for every car. He's last on the road, so I'm sure he knows how to take the benefit from it. And he's fast on that kind of rallies. He has always been fast on that kind of rallies. So there's no reason why he shouldn't be up there.
Are you excited about the first stage in Biķernieki rally track?
Yeah, it will be cool and will be probably the most enjoyable for me because it's tarmac and there's no cleaning, so that's the one I'm probably going to enjoy the most.
lai jūs nemulsina aizmugurē notiekošais, tā nav vienkārši rallija auto apskate. Šie ir glābēji un mediķi, kuri Starptautiskās automobiļu federācijas tehnisko un arī, protams, medicīnas personāla vadībā iziet instruktāžu, kas jādara gadījumos, ja auto avarē un ir nepieciešama palīdzība no malas. Un te ir jāņem vērā fakts, ka šī auto ir aprīkota ar hibrīdu tehnoloģiju, tas nozīmē papildus jaudu un papildus elektrosavienojumu, kas padara šo situāciju, ja tomēr auto avarē, krietni bīstamāk. Un tāpēc svarīgi zināt, kā pareizi un galvenais droši rīkoties, lai vajadzības gadījumā arī palīdzētu glābt dzīvības.
Tajās valstīs, kur WRC posmi notiek katru gadu, rekomendēts ir komandā vismaz 2 reizes gadā iziet šādu veidu apmācības, lai uzturētu šīs zināšanas un prasmes tieši darbam ar hibrīdu mašīnām tajā situācijā, kad ir risks šai te augstas enerģijas traumai. Tas esmu high voltage, nepateikšu, kā precīzi latviski augsta enerģija, tā arī saucās, man liekas. Lūk, mēs, pat cik Latvijā WRC organizējam pirmo reizi, tad arī Latvijā šāda mēroga apmācības, kad piedalās pilnīgi visi mediķi, pilnīgi visi glābēji, kas ir iesaistīti procesā, notiek pirmo reizi. Un tas aizņēma, mēs sākām šodien 9 no rīta. Mācības sākās un beidzām 6:00 vakarā. Faktiski ar pusstundas pārtraukumu visu dienu notiek intensīvas gan praktiskās, gan arī teorētiskās apmācības.
Tev ir milz pieredze, vairāk arī moto MXGP, būt klātsošam un uzraudzīt no mediķu puses, kā viss tiek organizēts un, protams, arī pašam sniegt palīdzību. Var salīdzināt šos divus pasākumus?
Tie ir absolūti nesalīdzināmi, jo motocross notiek kontrolētā teritorijā ar, teiksim tā, šis trauma intensitāte ir daudz lielāka, daudz biežāka. Savukārt rallijs notiek ļoti plašā teritorijā un ir šī te kontrole, ir, kā pareizāk, kā labāk pateikt, kontrole ir attālināta. Un man ir jābūt drošam, ka katrs dakteris, autovadītājs, ārsta palīgs, kas ir iesaistīti šajā procesā, zinās savu vietu un zinās, ko dara, man uz viņiem ir jāpaļaujas. Un tāpēc arī ir šāda veida apmācības, kur mēs ļoti stingri vērtējam viņu darbu, gan no Starptautiskās motosporta federācijas, gan arī no mums. Uzdevumi tiek izpildīti ar dažādiem scenārijiem, viņus mainot regulāri, padarot viņus grūtākus, liekot iziet no savas komforta zonas. Kā rezultātā tas ir vērtīgi, un tas ir arī tāpēc, lai mēs varētu paļauties un zinātu, ja notiek negadījums trasē, ka mēs esam 150 vai 200 km attālumā šajā gadījumā, līdz ar to arī mums ir jābūt drošiem. Es esmu redzējis, bijis mācījies tieši no medicīniskās organizācijas un arī mācību organizācijas puses WRC Sardinijā. Es teikšu, ka mūsu mediķi un arī glābēji neatpaliek.
Bet tagad brīdinājums skatītājiem. Lūdzu, ievērojiet noteikumus. Sacensību galvenais ārsts Roberts Furmans šodien Facebookā publicēja šo fotografiju, un tas redzams no Thierry Neuville automašīnas. Šobrīd ātrums 101 km/h, bet pirms viņš vēl nobremzēja, ieraugot dzīvu šķērsli, cilvēku, kurš pat neskatās uz pretī traucošos automašīnu. Ātrums bija 122 km/h. Nebojāsim rallija svētkus sev un citiem. Šis ir vissliktākais piemērs, kur un kā skatīties ralliju. Tā raksta Roberts. Viņš teica, ka šī epizode ļoti nopietni tika izskatīta rallija centrā ar visiem organizatoriem un atgādina, ka Polijā tieši līdzjutēju dēļ tika atcelti pāris ātruma posmi. Tā kā negribam, lai tas atkārtojas Latvijā, ievēro ievērojam visus norādījumus, klausam tiesnešus un pusstundu pirms ātruma posma nestaigājam pa sacensību trasi. Tā kā nebojāsim svētkus sev un citiem. Rīt ielūkosimies pilnā sacensību dienā un sāksies viss 10 no rīta ar otro posmu Milskalnē. Pēc tam Tukums, Andumi, Milskalnē, atkal Tukumā, atkal Strazdne un Talsi. Tāds ir rītdienas plāns. Baudām ralliju, baudām vēsturisko posmu Latvijā un tiekamies jau rīt.